अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाह। ये लाइव सेशन है हमारा, बाद में ये रिकॉर्डेड भी होके चलता है. So if you want to ask any questions, if you have any questions that you want to ask, please visit our website. The website name is stream.alnafi.com. आप उसको visit करें, log into the website, okay, and then there you can ask questions. You will be able, you have to register yourself, and then once you are registered, browse the room. आप अपने room को browse करें, and then you will see one of the event here, and then you can go into the event and then you can ask the question there. आप वहाँ पर सवाल कर सकेंगे. ये जो session है ये live broadcasted है, and later on recording भी इसकी चलती है on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. So today's topic is very interesting. It is IoT, and how IoT is changing the landscape of the world, right? So essentially, if someone asks you what is IoT, right? Someone asks you कि भाई IoT क्या है, right? IoT is a huge topic, but मैं आपको उसमें से 2-3 चीजें बताऊंगा, ठीक है? Which is very interesting. Because we are teaching IoT, we are teaching many things. Smart homes, it's part of the IoT. So you can have a smart TV, you can have a smart bulb, smart lamp, smart camera, smart fridge, smart, clock, whatever the case is. I mean, you can add anything to be smart, right? You can do that. Now, one of the things you have to understand is that everything in your house, कोई भी आपके घर में चीज है, जैसे कैमरा है, मोशन सेंसर है, स्विच है, open close sensor है, voice assistant है, all of these things, they are becoming smart. They are becoming, and they are part of the IoT ecosystem. So what exactly is IoT? I mean, what is IoT, right? If you connect anything to an internet, कोई भी ऐसी चीज जिसके पास कैपेबिलिटी है कि वो इंटरनेट से कनेक्ट हो सकता है, that essentially is the Internet of Things, IoT, because then you can gather data. आप data gather कर सकते हैं. So IoT जो है, you will see IoT in smart cities, smart bridges, smart buildings, smart homes. You will see it everywhere. And in the next 2-3 years, almost there will be more than 50 billion devices connected on the to the internet. So you can imagine that दुनिया में हर चीज IoT से connect हो रही है. I mean, they are just putting a sensor and the ability for that thing to go to the internet and it's connected, right? That's a big thing. It's huge. So huge in the sense because you now have the capability to gather data. So if you put a sensor on something and that sensor is also able to go online and send the data, whatever it is data is collecting. It can be air quality, it can be pollution, it can be water quality, पानी है, पानी पी रहे हैं आप, साफ है, गंदा है, क्या है, right? It's real-time data. You can see it, what is happening. This is what is happening nowadays. मैं कनाडा में एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट किया था, smart cities का, in downtown Toronto, right? And GE, General Electric, was the company, और उनके बहुत सारे devices throughout the cities, buildings में सब जगह लगा है. So अगर कचरा उठाने वाला है, garbage collection वाला है, किस time पे आ रहा है, क्या कर रहा है. So we are collecting all of those things. So they are collecting data. जब वो dustbin भर जाएगा, तब कचरा उठाने वाला आएगा. Otherwise ऐसे घूमता नहीं रह जा रहा, ठीक है ना, घूम नहीं रहा अपने ट्रक में, क्योंकि वो सारी गैस उसकी fuels आए. All of these things जो है ना, उससे उसको नुकसान होगा, right? So you can imagine कि IoT की क्या value है, because now you have the ability to collect data. आपके पास data collection की ability आ गई है. In the West, this is digitally transforming the societies. Societies transform हो रही है, because again, what you're doing is you're just collecting data. You now have the ability to see. आपको किसी बंदे को खड़ा नहीं करना. You can see what is happening. I will give you another example. There was another project I did with Amazon. And the project was that जब आप शॉप में जाते हैं तो वहां पर कैमरे लगे हुए थे, and the cameras, they're looking at the at the customer eyes को देख रहे हैं कि जब कस्टमर दुकान में दाखिल होता है सबसे पहले कहाँ देखता है, what shelf, कौन सी अच्छी जगह कौन सी है. That's how they were calculating where to put the best product. जो आपकी बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट है वो कहाँ से करें, because they are gathering data. आपकी आई बॉल्स कहाँ जाती हैं, where are you looking at, right? This is very important. This because देखो मैंने सबको I keep on saying this thing. What you see online in videos and stuff like that, that's not the real implementation of IoT, artificial intelligence, big data, data science. People are doing degrees in data science, but they're still jobless. The reason is they don't understand the industry. Industry ke andar, they are doing these things for a singular purpose. You know, the purpose kya hai? To expand their business. But this data is sensitive because it's, related to a person. It can be related to an entity, to an enterprise, and then you have to secure that data. Again, it comes to the GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. So IoT is one of the product through which you can collect mass amount of data, but then you still have to secure it. You still have to minimize the risk. You still have to be compliant. So IoT ke jo sensors hain, they are collecting data for cyber security. They are collecting everything. Dunya mein, in this world, anything that moves, anything that is static, dams. There was a project I did for dams. You know what they were doing? They were putting smart bricks. Har dam ki brick ke andar sensor tha, embedded. Aur wo sensor kya kar raha tha? What that sensor was doing was calculating the pressure, ताकि dam में कौन सी brick कहाँ पर crack पड़ने वाला है. If there is a crack, that sensor will send out the data, and then they are able to come in and fix that patch immediately before dam जो है ना उसको नुकसान हो, water dam, right? So you can imagine these are some of the use cases. There's another IoT project I did because as a CISO, as a CIO, I've done many projects, alhamdulillah, right? So in all of these projects, I've learned the importance of business development, business expansion, all of these things. So IoT is not that different. Now, let me tell you, आपके घर में जो सबसे important चीज है, ठीक है, वो जो लोगों के, people believe it to be very important is your television. For me, it's not television. I have other important things, but people, they spend a lot of time watching television, right? Was television, agar wo television smart TV, because now everyone pretty much has a smartphone. I have a smartphone, right? There's a smartphone. Everyone now pretty much has smart television as well. And what is that television doing? It is connected to your Wi-Fi, it is going out on the internet, and it is sending data. If it's a Samsung or Sony or LG or whatever vendor there is, right? They are collecting data, diagnostic data. They can call it diagnostic data, they can call it any other thing, right? So in the countries jahan par privacy ke regulations sab cheezein hain, it's a separate story, right? However, like for example, Google is one of those companies that collects the most amount of data. Facebook ki jo app hai, they collect anything and everything. But ye jo smartphones ke jo developers hain, just like iPhone, Apple, they made some changes through which organizations are, like Facebook and whatnot, they are not able to collect the data, right? So collect unko mushkil ho rahi hai. Privacy settings, because data is the next big oil. Wherever you go, you will find data, right? So you need to understand these technologies. And I'm going to, because since IoT is a big topic and I can go on in terms of its implementation, the use cases, I've done many things, alhamdulillah, right? As a CISO, CIO. However, as an architect as well, because I'm a hands-on CISO. I'm not like the one who sits in the office. That's not me, right? So one of the things you have to understand is कि आज मैं आपको IoT के एक section पे बात करूंगा और वो है basically आपका television, right? Because everyone spends time on television. So I have gathered some interesting facts, right? कि दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा, right? So this is a very good article, right? This talks about people watching Netflix, like almost 71 minutes a day, which is like 1.5 hours, almost 1.5 hours, right? Roughly 1 hour, I'm saying 1 hour, 10 minutes, right? Right now, some of them are saying 85 minutes, some of them are saying 70, 71 minutes, but roughly it is going to be 1.5 hours. Socializing, time with family, it's reducing. Facebook, exercise, reading. You can see that the society is always going towards a decline. There's a huge decline which is happening right now, right? So you can imagine that society जो है वो already decline की तरफ जा रही है. I mean, we are already going towards our decline because we are binge watching, right? And we keep on doing these things for no good reason. The other thing that is happening is, which is again a very good stats, is that what are the leading countries who are doing these things, right? Uske upar bhi I got some stats, and Netflix business kahan par sabse zyada kar rahi hai, right? I'm going to show you those as well. And then, because this is where everything is coming from IoT, right? This is how they're gathering data. So leading countries in terms of Netflix library size, किसके पास सबसे ज्यादा डेटा है, लाइब्रेरी कितनी मूवीज हैं, क्या शोज हैं, क्या टाइटल्स हैं, ठीक है? उन सबको अगर आप देखें तो US and Canada is creating almost $11 billion. Europe, Middle East and Africa is creating $7.8 billion, $3.2 billion and $2.4 billion. So you can see, they say that Asia and Asia Pacific is the talent hub of the world. The reason is people are still watching less television. You can see this, right? Because Netflix is truly a company which is global. Pretty much everywhere on the face of the planet, you will find Netflix being used. लोग बैठ के देख रहे होते हैं, सुन रहे होते हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे होते हैं, right? Excuse me. Now, one of the things which is also very interesting is that this market is also expanding as well, right? So you can see Netflix 34%, then Disney Plus, then YouTube, and YouTube is declining. YouTube is a dying brand right now because these online stream providers are chewing up the business of YouTube. They are significantly hampering its ability. So YouTube, one way or the other, will start charging money from people. They will start doing that, right? So they're already sitting on a big pile of users. They will start doing that. When? We don't know. The other thing is कि वैसे भी उनकी जो उनका revenue है, it is also declining as well. After many years, YouTube के जो भी numbers आए, Google के, they're down, right? They're down significantly, and that's why their shares took a plunge. There are some very interesting facts, Netflix ka revenue and usage and all those kinds of things, and you can keep on reading about this thing if you go forward. You can see this company is a very interesting company because they gathered a lot of data through IoT, through your watching habits, from your television, from their applications. Combined, if you do it, and you can see 2011, and now we're in 2022, and you can see a steady upward increase. Specifically in 2019, 20, and 22, 19, 20, and 21 and 22, you can see because of the, I would say, pandemic, this is, keeps on increasing. So this is a very interesting case study that you really need to understand. Then there's a message in it for you as well, right? Worldwide, इस वक्त दुनिया में जो users हैं Netflix के, Statistica is a very great website. I always review this and I keep on reading interesting stuff here, right? Statistica जो है Netflix जो worldwide revenue है, मतलब कि almost Netflix earned $26.7 billion, right? Video streaming business जो है worldwide है, वो $67 billion है. And you can see number of Netflix paying subscribers is 221. That's almost equivalent to 70% of the I would say Pakistan population is 221, 220, something like that, right? So that's like huge, 22 crore, right? This is huge. So you can imagine that Netflix is a company that is doing a lot, right? Now, one of the key things you have to understand is दुनिया में majority जो लोग हैं, they are wasting their time, right? And this is one of the things that I say, that we want to become the Netflix of education and employment, is because the time that you spend on Netflix, you don't get anything. You just get this temporary enjoyment of, whatever enjoyment you call it, or a dopamine release or whatever it is. ठीक है ना, आपको mental satisfaction मिलती है. But then this is not going to put bread on the table. This is not going to support you in your career. This is not going to help you change your circumstances. आपके हालात तब्दील नहीं होंगे. आप अपने आप को आगे कामयाबी की तरफ लेके नहीं जा सकते. You can't be successful because you're wasting time. The same amount of 85-90 minutes that you're spending on Netflix globally, or on YouTube, or whatever you do, if you do that in terms of studying, you can make a big, huge impact in your life. Right? This is very important, because education is the key that open doors for you to be successful. And दुनिया में इस वक्त जो globally हैं, I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of universities, right? What are they doing? They are just creating these graduates, and the graduates don't know what to do. So when we started AlNafi, our goal was, like when we started this thing, to educate the world, to make it a better place, because education is the only thing जिससे आप अपने हालात तब्दील कर सकते हैं. You can change yourself, right? That's the only thing. As I said, if you want to ask questions, you can go to stream.alnafi.com, right? So the alumni of MIT, Stanford, Royal Holloway, and different various university, Princeton, they opened this project, right? And our goal was to make sure that we are able to go on the world stage and be able to teach everyone. Just like Netflix, what are they doing? वो सबको multilingual में shows दिखा रहे हैं. They're showing people in different shows and videos in multilingual. We are teaching the world in multilingual, right? This is what we're doing. That is a big differentiator between us and Netflix. The other thing is, we are giving them something through which they can change their lives, not waste their time. I mean, if you are a Netflix subscriber, whatever you're paying, $15, $20, whatever the fee is, I don't know, you'll be wasting your time and money, and everything will be wasted and you won't get anything, right? Through Netflix, you can't earn. Through Netflix, you cannot change your life. But through courses and getting the job description, we teach you the job description from day one. You can change yourself, right? That's the key thing. That is how you can change yourself. So if you study the career advancement track, that opens door for you, not only to have the local mobility, अपने मुल्क में mobility हासिल कर सकते हो, ठीक है ना? If you want to work locally within your own country, wherever you are, but it also opens doors for opportunities internationally as well. There will be more than 100 million jobs alone in the whole, throughout the world, every year for the next 5 years, 5 to 6 years. And ये जो सारी चीजें आ रही हैं, this is because of automation. Go on Statistica, you will find all the numbers. I don't have to even go there, right? So Statistica is one of the global data aggregators. So they gather all the data and then they get these reports, right? So you can go there and you can see. And because of what is happening on the global landscape in European Union and all those things, you can do a lot by studies. You can change yourself. आप अपने हालात तब्दील कर सकते हैं. And that is why we are opening this university, because this university will be truly a global university. I would say one of the only university in the world, which will be teaching in all the key languages spoken by 5 billion people, almost. And in the next 2 years, almost 7 billion people. There are 7.9 billion people in दुनिया में, population जो है. Right now we have 13 languages active, and we intend to go to almost 70 languages. There are more than 220 languages, but the predominant ones spoken by by the people are 7 billion, right? are like those 70 languages. So that's our goal. That's a noble cause. We are working on it, right? So this program ke andar, if you study it, you can be extremely successful. You can, for example, IoT was a topic, but मैंने आपको उसको पूरा parallels draw करके दिखाया कि कैसे होता है. And IoT advancement track के ऊपर I will talk on some other day, and we will go deep into the industry कि काम कैसे होता है, क्या होता है. However, one of the things that is used in IoT is blockchain. One of the things used in IoT is blockchain. Blockchain is going to revolutionize the whole world. And pretty much, even if there are quantum computers, right, or whatever the case is, blockchain, there will be quantum, blockchain. I mean, those are just numbers. Blockchain relies on, a combination of public and private key, right? Asymmetric and symmetric encryption. You can do the same thing, basically, if you have quantum, resistant encryption protocols. There was a project I did on deploying quantum resistant encryption protocols in 2016. 2016 when a project is. Now you can see quantum computing service on Amazon, on Azure, on IBM. It's available. You can use it. We are creating a full track on it, where you will be able to use quantum computers on the cloud at AlNafi. You don't even have to buy $1 billion computer. I mean, it's available as a service, and you'll be able to use it, right? But that's education that can change your life. Because दुनिया में जो blockchain है, एक ऐसी चीज है कि इसको सीखने से, इसको पढ़ने से, you can easily be employed in the next 3 to 6 months. That is a differentiator. So go online, go to AlNafi.com, right? Go to AlNafi.com. It will resolve to our domain. Go to courses, right? And the career tracks, and then public blockchain advancement track. This is the track you have to follow, because this will give you all the information, all the skills you need to be successful and work within the industry. And IoT utilizes blockchain significantly for authentication, identification or authentication, and for various other purposes, for securing the devices, so on and so forth. So I will talk about IoT in the next 2 months in detail and I will relate it to the advancement track, what is happening, so on and so forth. But this track, one of the technologies that you will learn is career advancement track, and then all the key technologies and the processes, because you have to understand the industry. Agar industry samajh nahi aayi na, you can't work it. You can't work in it. Aap kaam nahi kar sakte. So if you just study data science, you will be just making videos on YouTube. You won't be able to earn anything. You won't be able to work in any projects. If you just study AI, you won't be able to do anything. However, if you're studying accountancy and you study data science, you can be successful. If you study, whatever subjects you have studied, go and infuse it with the existing technologies. Then you can be successful. Isolation mein padhne se kuch nahi milta. You can't study in isolation. Because these technologies are complementing technologies, right? And that is why we emphasize on the key principles, which is basically the career advancement track, because that track in itself alone addresses all the key things like data science, big data, DevOps, cyber defense, offensive security, all of these things, right? SCADA, and IoT is one of them. IoT and IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things. We will talk about those things. And this opens door for you around the world. तुम दुनिया में कहीं भी जाके काम कर सकते हो. That's the most biggest differentiator, right? So continue your learning journey. Keep on learning these things, because this will open doors for you, not only in your own country, अपने ना सिर्फ अपनी country में, बल्कि बाहर जाने के रास्ते भी पूरे खुल जाते हैं आपके, right? You can see one of the data I've shown here is like कितने लोग ये visa लेके बाहर जा रहे हैं पढ़ने के लिए, right? And those who cannot afford the program, they can study CAT program through alnafi.com/qard. This is the program that is available. Anyone who is interested to learn, they can go there. they can study, and they can understand the program, वो पढ़ सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं, and we are more than happy to help them and assess them and help out them, right? So this was today's talk. If you have any questions, you can always go back to stream@alnafi.org, ask questions there. We are always available. Go to stream.alnafi.com. You can ask questions there as well, as you can see. And we will be more than happy to answer those questions. And the key thing is, remember, this is the live session going on right now. Join the live session and ask the question there, right? So I will read this question. Whatever language you speak, you can write it in your own language, and we will be able to translate that and auto-detect it and answer you back. This is the power of artificial intelligence that we are utilizing, okay? So feel free to join the talk now. I'm going to end the session here. And if you have any questions, you can come on stream@alnafi.com, and there we'll be more happy to answer any of your questions.